Chapter 21 of Restaurant at the End of the Universe. Our last chapter. Erg, muttered the native and banged on the rock again. They've been out-evolved by telephone sanitizers. Erg, grog, insisted the native, continuing to bang on the rock. Why does he keep banging on the rock? Said Arthur. I think he probably wants you to scrabble with him again, said Ford. He's pointing at the letters. Probably spelt Scissor Gridger Widgets again, poor bastard. I keep telling him there's only one G in Scissor Widget. The native banged on the rock again. They looked over his shoulder. Their eyes popped. There, amongst the jumble of letters, were 8 that had been laid out in a clear, straight line. They spelt 2 words. The words were these: 42. Grug, explained the native, and he swept the letters angrily away and went and mooched under a nearby tree with his colleague. Ford and Arthur stared at him. Then they stared at each other. Did that say what I thought it said? They both said together. Yes, they both said. 42, said Arthur. 42, said Ford. Arthur ran over to the 2 natives. What are you trying to tell us? He shouted. What's it supposed to mean? One of them rolled over on the ground, kicked his legs up in the air, rolled over again, and went to sleep. The other bounded up the tree and threw horse chestnuts at Ford Prefect. Whatever it was they had to say, they had already said it. You know what this means? Said Ford. Not entirely. 42 is the number Deep Thought gave us, being the ultimate answer. Yes. And the Earth is the computer Deep Thought designed and built to calculate the question to the ultimate answer. So we are led to believe. And organic life was part of the computer matrix. If you say so. I do say so. That means that these natives, these ape-men, are an integral part of the computer program, and that we and the Golgafrinchians are not. But the cavemen are dying out, and the Golgafrinchians are obviously set to replace them. Exactly. So do you see what this means? What? Cock up, said Ford Prefect. Arthur looked around him. This planet is having a pretty bloody time of it, he said. Ford puzzled for a moment. Still, something must have come out of it, he said at last, because Marvin said he could see the question printed in your brainwave patterns. But probably the wrong one, or a distortion of the right one. It might give us a clue, though, if we could find it. I don't see how we can, though. They moped about for a bit. Arthur sat on the ground and started pulling up bits of grass, but found that it wasn't an occupation he could get deeply engrossed in. It wasn't grass he could believe in. The trees seemed pointless. The rolling hills seemed to be rolling to nowhere, and the future seemed just a tunnel to be crawled through. Ford fiddled with his sub-ether sensormatic. It was silent. He sighed and put it away. Arthur picked up one of the letter stones from his homemade Scrabble set. It was a T. He sighed and set it out again. The letter he put down next to it was an I. That spelt it. He tossed another couple of letters next to them. They were S and H, as it so happened. By a curious coincidence, the resulting word perfectly expressed the way Arthur was feeling about things just then. He stared at it for a moment. He hadn't done it deliberately. It was just a random chance. His brain got slowly into first gear. Ford, he said suddenly, look, if that question is printed in my brainwave patterns, but I'm not consciously aware of it, it must be somewhere in my unconscious. Yeah, I suppose so. There might be a way of bringing that unconscious pattern forward. Oh, yes? Yes, by introducing some random element that can be shaped by that pattern. Like how? Like by pulling Scrabble letters out of a bag blindfolded. Ford leapt to his feet. Brilliant, he said. He tugged his towel out of his satchel and with a few deft knots transformed it into a bag. Totally mad, he said. Utter nonsense. But we'll do it because it's brilliant nonsense. Come on, come on. The sun passed respectfully behind a cloud. A few small, sad raindrops fell. They piled together all the remaining letters and dropped them into the bag, and they shook them up. Right, said Ford. Close your eyes. Pull them out. Come on, come on. Arthur closed his eyes and plunged his hand into the towel full of stones. He jiggled them about, pulled out 4 and handed them to Ford. Ford laid them along the ground in the order he got them. W, said Ford. H, A, T. What? He blinked. I think it's working, he said. Arthur pushed 3 more at him. D, O, Y. Doy. Oh, perhaps it isn't working, said Ford. Here's the next one. O, U, G. Doyug. It's not making sense, I'm afraid. Arthur pulled another 2 from the bag. Ford put them in place. E.T. Do you get? Do you get? Shouted Ford. It is working. This is amazing. It really is working. More here. Arthur was throwing them out feverishly as fast as he could. I.F., said Ford. Y-O-U. M-U-L-T-I-P-L-Y. What do you get if you multiply 6? 6 by B-Y. What do you get if you multiply 6 by 9? 6 by 9, he paused. Come on, where's the next one? That's the lot. That's all there were. He sat back, nonplussed. He rooted around again in the knotted-up towel, but there were no more letters. You mean that's it? Said Ford. That's it. 6 by 9. 42. That's it. That's all there is. The sun came out and beamed cheerfully at them. A bird sang. A warm breeze wafted through the trees and lifted the heads of the flowers, carrying their scent away through the woods. An insect droned past on its way to do whatever it is that insects do in the late afternoon. The sound of voices lifted through the trees, followed a moment later by 2 girls who stopped in surprise at the sight of Ford Prefect and Arthur Dent, apparently lying on the ground in agony, but in fact rocking with noiseless laughter. No, don't go, called Ford Prefect between gasps. We'll be with you in a moment. What's the matter? Asked one of the girls. She was taller and slimmer of the 2. On Golka Frencham, she had been a junior personnel officer, but hadn't liked it much. Ford pulled himself together. Excuse me, he said. Hello. My friend and I were just contemplating the meaning of life. Frivolous exercise. Oh, it's you, said the girl. You made a bit of a spectacle of yourself this afternoon. You were quite funny to begin with, but you did bang on a bit. Did I? Oh, yes. Yes, what was all that for? Asked the other girl, a shorter, round-faced girl who had been an art director for a small advertising company on Golka Frencham. Whatever the privations of this world were, she went to sleep every night profoundly grateful for the fact that whatever she had to face in the morning, it wouldn't be 100 almost identical photographs of moodily lit tubes of toothpaste. For? For nothing. Nothing's for anything, said Ford Prefect happily. Come and join us. I'm Ford, and this is Arthur. We were just about to do nothing at all for a while, but it can wait. The girls looked at them doubtfully. I'm Agda, said the tall one, and this is Mela. Hello, Agda. Hello, Mela, said Ford. Do you talk at all? Asked Mela to Arthur. Oh, eventually, said Arthur, with a smile. But not as much as Ford. Good. There was a slight pause. What did you mean, asked Agda, about only having 2 million years? I couldn't make sense of what you were saying. Oh, that, said Ford. It doesn't matter. It's just that the world gets demolished to make way for a hyperspace bypass, said Arthur with a shrug. But that's 2 million years away. And anyway, it's just Vogons doing what Vogons do. Vogons, said Mela. Yes, you wouldn't want to know them. Where'd you get this idea from? It really doesn't matter. It's just like a dream from the past or the future. Arthur smiled and looked away. Does it worry you that you don't talk any kind of sense? Asked Agda. Listen, forget it, said Ford. Forget all about it. Nothing matters. Look, it's a beautiful day. Enjoy it. The sun, the green of the hills, the river down in the valley, the burning trees. Even if it's only a dream, it's a pretty horrible idea, said Mela, destroying a world just to make a bypass. Oh, I've heard worse, said Ford. I read of one planet off in the 7th dimension that got used as a ball in a game of intergalactic bar billiards. Got potted straight into a black hole, killed 10 billion people. That's mad, said Mela. Yes, only scored 30 points, too. Agda and Mela exchanged glances. Look, said Agda, there's a party after the committee meeting tonight. You can come along if you like. Yeah, okay, said Ford. I'd like to, said Arthur. Many hours later, Arthur and Mela sat and watched the moon rise over the dull red glow of the trees. That story about the world being destroyed, began Mela. In 2 million years, yes. You say it as if you really think it's true. Yes, I think it is. I think I was there. She shook her head in puzzlement. You're very strange, she said. No, I'm very ordinary, said Arthur. But some strange things have happened to me. You could say I'm more differed from than differing. And that other world your friend talked about? The one that got pushed into a black hole? Oh, that I don't know about. It sounds like something from the book. What book? Arthur paused. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, he said at last. What's that? Oh, just something I threw into the river this evening. I don't think I'll be wanting it anymore, said Arthur Dent. The end. That concludes our reading of the book Restaurant at the End of the Universe. Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned as Book 3 in the series, Light, the Universe, and Everything, will be coming out soon.